Welcome to the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. Here's your host, Brien Hanley.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? This your man, Big B, Brien Hanley, along with Tim Fitzgerald. Welcome back to the Big 12 Insiders. Appreciate everybody being in here. It was a good week for the Big 12, in my opinion, last week. Made some hay, had some good football games. That means the power rankings, ladies and gentlemen, didn't have a ton of movement, but there's some movement at the top for me. And I think probably everybody has some movement at the top. So it'll be interesting to see what's what. Again, we'll combine that with what the 24/7 publishers put out and see where we match up. I think that's always a fun little exercise to do. But we'll talk about the power rankings today. Before we get into any of that, remember to like, follow, subscribe, continue to get in the comments section. This always seems to be a big one. People telling us what they do and don't like. I enjoy that.
Love it.
And then I always hit that notification bell so you know exactly when Big 12 Insiders content comes out. So, Tim, Fitz, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I love doing this every week. And I thought it was interesting as the guy who gets the first glimpse of the comparison between the two sets of power rankings. Brother, they're getting closer. They're beginning to look like each other a little bit more. As I think we have to give a shout out to the 24/7 publishers and managing editors out there because they're doing a real good job. And McLean at O State, just a wonderful job getting this all pulled together with a bunch of idiots who can't remember to send in stuff on time. It's mostly about me, but he puts it all together for us, writes the story, compiles the rankings, and makes this all possible compared to your rankings. And it's a fun practice every week.
Yes, it is. So there's some movement. We'll get into it. So let's get started. First off, at the top, or I should say at the bottom, at 16, there is no movement. Oklahoma State. And look, I'll be more than happy to say this. It's Oklahoma State, and then there is a gap. A big gap to number 15, but Oklahoma State, like that was pathetic. Gundy's checked out. I got people that want to argue and talk about that they're not, and you can't blame the coaches because guys aren't ready to play. I'm like, no, excuse me, that's a coach's number one job is to get guys ready to play. It's just a mess at Oklahoma State right now. Again, losing at home to Tulsa. I thought, okay, you know what? Maybe you don't blow Tulsa out, but at least you win so you can start feeling good about yourself. That did not happen. There's reports all over the place, Fitz, that Gundy is on his way out, and supposedly in a matter of weeks. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't even know why that would make sense. Just let the guy go out with some grace, or at least on his own terms. But they're at 16, and I don't even think it's close.
Well, I'm actually the opposite of you. I think if he's not going to do his job, which I don't think he's doing.
Yeah.
He seems to give zero, whats.
Right.
You got to get him out. It's not fair to the kids. It's not fair to the fans. When your head coach is just mailing it in to keep getting his paycheck, that's not only bad, that's career ending for Mike Gundy. Nobody's going to want to hire him.
No.
Somebody probably will at some point, but not anytime soon. When you absolutely quit while still getting paid, still have a job to do, that's a bad look. Yeah. And he has quit on his players, his program, his fans, and himself. And I'll go as far to say this. Covering Kansas State, being around Kansas, the University of, I've seen some really bad football. Those two institutions at one point were so bad together, it was pure comedy. And I think they were both better at that time than what Oklahoma State is right now. This is a horrendous football team.
It is. It is a bad football team right now. I don't know. Partly I blame Oklahoma State. I don't want to get too stuck on them, the number 16 team, but I blame the administration. You should have just fired Gundy last year and just moved on. Yeah. I go, but you didn't do that. That didn't make any sense. You keep him and make him get all new assistants. That doesn't make any sense.
No, and look, if you want to blame the players, the coaches pick the players, whether it's the recruiting trail or the portal. These are the players that they selected to represent the university. So now it's their job to get them ready.
Absolutely. Number 15 hasn't changed for me. Kansas State. They had a bye week. Didn't see anything, obviously. And until I see something from Kansas State, they're not moving off this spot. Now, it's going to be hard pressed for me to put them at 16 just because of what we've seen from the Cowboys. But show me something this week. Just show me a little life that you care. Just do that. But I don't know if it's until we see it.
I agree.
I'm not sure that it's even there. And they're at 15, and this is the rightful place for them.
The words are all there. They're all being said, the right words. But this is about action. This is about how you present yourself on the football field. And I think I can speak for all those Kansas State fans out there that are thinking, thank God for Oklahoma State, because K-State would be the worst of the conference. This is really bad for the Big 12. Yeah. Oklahoma State and Kansas State are the two most winning programs remaining in terms of Big 12 victories. And they're both tanking. And I think it hurts the overall perception of this conference.
Yeah, it does. I don't know. Look, maybe we'll just see. We'll see about Kansas State. I don't even want to speak on them. People think I'm being too hard on them because I played there, but at the same time, the only thing that I've seen is them stink. I mean, literally, they played good for a half out of 4 football games, and that's just not good enough. It's just not good enough.
Agreed.
At 14, West Virginia. Man, look, I wanted West Virginia to move. It's not so much I thought they were going to beat Kansas. And as a matter of fact, if you go back, I said Kansas was going to blow them out, and they did. But I feel bad because West Virginia, I guess technically they put themselves, Fitz, in this emotional roller coaster because lose to Ohio, which, again, Ohio, I think, is a better team than a lot of people are giving them credit for. I think Ohio's a better football team. We saw that the very next week when they gave Ohio State everything they wanted for a half. But you lose that one on the road. You come back, so emotional win. You come back against Pitt in the backyard brawl. And then what is your reward for that? You got to go on the road to Kansas, a team that got humiliated defensively against their rival off a bye week. That's trouble. And that's why I was like, man, this is not going to be good. It wasn't good. But, we got to put them here. At least I have to put them here. 14 seems like the right spot. They have an opportunity to get them to right the ship, but that was brutal. Against, Kansas. Kansas did wind sprints running the football up and down the field against West Virginia.
There's a classic Seinfeld episode, and I think it's called Two-Face, in which Jerry meets a woman who is very attractive. And then other times she's hideous. And then she's attractive. And then she's hideous. Welcome to West Virginia football. They were hot and sexy last week against Pitt. Not so much against Kansas, but we'll get to Kansas in a bit, but that was impressive.
It was. But again, they put themselves in that position. West Virginia did, the emotional roller coaster. If you win, that game against Ohio, maybe it's not so much up and down, but it is. And you go on the road after an emotional win, it just setting yourself up for disaster. And it was. So moving on, number 13, Colorado. Look, they needed to get this win. You look at Colorado's remaining schedule, it's pretty tough starting this week. But BYU comes to town. They needed a win. First of all, they need to settle on a quarterback. I think that's the key thing. They got to start settling on a quarterback. It seems that they have. Caden Salter had a good game, and they put it to. They ran the ball pretty successful against Wyoming. Now, you could say it's Wyoming. Okay. And they won at home, 37-20. But we'll see what Colorado's made of. Again, I'm still not convinced that this is a physical football team. You're going to have to show me against a Power 4 team because the ones that we've seen you play, you haven't been physical at all. So now you're in the conference play. Let's see what happens.
I'm going to admit that I'm not as up on Wyoming football as I probably should be. That's a lie. I shouldn't be. But I thought Wyoming would be more competitive. Mostly based on Colorado, to be honest, but Colorado kind of put it together. Maybe this builds some confidence because they're going to need it because like the other teams we've discussed so far, they're going to get their feelings hurt a lot in this conference this season. All 4 of them, unless they make drastic changes. And again, I got to see it to believe it. And this one wasn't enough to make me believe.
No, not yet. Not yet. They needed the win.
Yep.
And, and how they played it. I mean, it could have been better at times. And the game, I guess, technically got to 10 points late, but then they scored another touchdown. So they needed the win. They needed to feel good about themselves. But now they got BYU coming to town. So we'll see what happens. At number 12, I've got UCF. They've won 3 games. A lot of people only picked them to win 3 games this year. Well, they're there. Now, here's the thing. I think they thought they'd steal one in conference and get beat by North Carolina. North Carolina is god-awful. They are horrific. Now, give UCF credit. They stopped North Carolina from doing whatever they want to do, but Bill Belichick has no idea what he's doing in college football.
No.
He's more concerned about kissing his girlfriend on the sideline before games. UCF took the fight to him and took it right to him. Good for them. Look, you start looking at the rest of their schedule, Fitz, it's not horrific. It is not horrific. I mean, there's opportunities. Now, it's going to be tough, but you got Oklahoma State. You got at Cincinnati. First of all, you're playing Kansas State this weekend. That's a winnable game for them. So there's an opportunity for them. If they got to a bowl game this year, they would be so far ahead of the curve on Scott Frost 2.0 than what anybody could have wished for. But I got them at 12 this week. There's an opportunity here. There really is. They're 3-0. And again, Kansas State, they're not any good. Can you go there and win? Let's see if you can go there and win.
Kansas State's like a 5.5, 6-point favorite.
Yes.
I'm not a gambler, but I thought UCF looked good against North Carolina. Maybe it's just because North Carolina is hot garbage. But I think I speak for all college football fandom. If we could get a bowl game between Oklahoma State and North Carolina, we'd watch. We'd probably invent lots of drinking games. Chug when Bill Belichick kisses his girlfriend, because we feel good for him. I mean, he's got something going for him. His football team sucks.
Yes.
But he's got a maybe nutty but attractive girlfriend. Good for you, Bill. Good job. Quit coaching college football. You don't belong here. You suck at it. I'm not even sure you're that good a coach. How's that? Bill Belichick is just destroying his reputation. He could have gone out and said, okay, you know what? The team's weren't as good without Brady. I'm just going to call it a career. I've made enough money, and I'm just going to go do whatever I want to do, which gets back to the girlfriend. But just stop coaching, man. The more you coach, the less we think of you. Go away. Let us think of you as a great coach. I don't even think that's possible now. Forget it. He screwed it all up.
At number 11, I got Cincinnati. Look, Cincinnati is what it is at this point in time. They got to prove some stuff. I'm still, you know what, Bearcat fans, I'm still mad at them for losing to Nebraska. I thought they could beat Nebraska. I'm still mad at you. I'm sorry. I'm going to hold a grudge. I'm still mad at the way that game ended. I know that's being petty, but I believe in them. I think they're a little bit better than what they're showing. Now, they have an opportunity. There's a ton of season left.
Yeah.
So they can surprise a lot of football teams, or maybe they're not surprising. Maybe they're just going to be better. Maybe that was just one game. Either way, they're at 11 for me this week. We'll see what the Bearcats have in store for the rest of the season. Like I said, I'm still a believer. This will be a tough one at Kansas this week. We'll see what happens. But I like Cincinnati at 11.
Well, I think Cincinnati and UCF are both better than we expected. Mm-hmm. And yet they're still in that bottom 6 of this conference, which tells me that, like your hosts on this show, the conference is a little heavy in the middle. And I don't think there's as many really good teams this year, but I think it's going to be really competitive again and entertaining. I just think this conference, including Cincinnati, Nebraska, has lost too many key non-conference games to get the kind of respect that I think we all seek. Now, Texas Tech might have something to say about that as the season progresses, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are the first 6. Let's bring up what it looks like and compared to the publishers. Obviously, 16, 15, and 14, and 13, all the same. Imagine that. Look at that. And the only difference, I got Cincinnati and UCF flip-flopped. Okay. I'm going to give Cincinnati the benefit of the doubt. UCF has played absolutely nobody. At least Cincinnati. Now, Cincinnati hasn't beaten anybody, but at least they showed a pulse against I don't know, Nebraska's decent. And more than a pulse. They gave the game away. I'm still mad at them. Still mad at them, Fitz. I can't get past it. I can't get past it. So
I'm with you.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm with you. I'm like, really, guys? You had that thing right there.
Had
it's
it
Nebraska.
Right there. Brutal.
Like yep.
At number 10, I got KU. Some KU fans, they keep getting mad. Why can't you move them up? Why would you rank them here? Well, because, I mean, first off, who has KU beaten that's any good? Nobody. Now, there's a lot of teams that you can say they haven't beaten anybody any good. The only difference is, and as we go on, I'll justify it. Last time I saw them before West Virginia, you were giving up 600 yards total offense to somebody. That's not a good sign. And I know Missouri is a pretty good team. They're not that good, though, to be getting 600 yards against you. Now, KU cleaned that up this past week. Good for them. They'll have to keep it going. Yep. But here's the thing. KU is going to continue to move up because I think KU is a good football team. You just got to prove a little bit more to move up in my rankings. But I said it at the beginning of the year, KU has an opportunity to start the season 5-1. Well, it's staring them right in the face. They got 2 very winnable games on deck before they have to go to Texas Tech. We'll see what happens. But for now, KU is at 10.
I have them higher in my poll, but I understand exactly what you were saying. And I just want to say this. As someone who's grown up around these football programs, to see the University of Kansas actually capture atmosphere at a game, that's a cool setting. I can't wait for them to get done with the stadium because they're, the student section is still the old one. When they finish that thing, I think the stadium itself and the atmosphere itself is the greatest advertisement for more fundraising to get this done that they could ever have. It's a cool environment. They did a great job on that. We can discuss in other forums the funding of it and how they went about it. But it's a great end product. And when they get to 40,000 seats, which some people make fun of, I think it's appropriate for a lot of these football programs. Pack the house. Don't build empty seats. Yeah. And then crank up the atmosphere. Travis Goff and the everyone over at Kansas has hit a home run with what they've done so far.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it looks wonderful. Once they get it complete, it'll be even better. And like you said, who cares? Look at TCU. TCU's stadium looks like it holds 75,000 people.
Right.
And it doesn't even hold 50. But you wouldn't know it by looking at it, and you damn sure wouldn't know it if you're inside when that place is rocking. So it's all the eye of beholder and what suits you and for your fan base and your program. So good job with the stadium. But they're at 10 this week. Now, at number 9, I got Baylor. Now, here's the thing about Baylor. Baylor's lost 2 games to teams that I think are really good. I didn't think Auburn was as good at the beginning of the year, but I think Auburn is a good football team. I know they lost to OU this weekend, but that was a good football game. But I think Auburn is maybe a little better than what I thought and maybe what people thought. We'll see at the end of the year. But Arizona State is also a good football team. We'll discuss them a little later. But I like Baylor here. Look, I know that's ahead of KU, and they've got 2 losses, and KU has 1. Again, I saw Baylor in person. I saw them beat a team that I think is pretty good. I also saw them compete against other teams that I think are pretty good. That's all. That's what I'm going by. I think Baylor right now, if you line Baylor up in Kansas on a neutral field, I'm taking Baylor, and that's why I have them at 9, because I went back and forth on this one. But it came down to, who do I think wins on a neutral field? I think it's Baylor, because I think Baylor's going to be able to move the football all over the place on KU. I'm not sure KU can do the same, even though Baylor's defense isn't great. It was pretty good the other night. It was decent. But I think that's the reason I have them here. They're a 2-loss team, and I don't think they're still out of getting to Arlington, Fitz. I don't think Baylor's out of it yet. I don't think so.
And we saw last year that they got a lot better as the year went on. If that
Yep.
happens again, they're going to be really good. But yeah, again, this proves, I think the fact that you have Kansas and Baylor in these two spots proves how strong the middle of this conference is. Because if you're Oklahoma State, Kansas State, the teams at the bottom, you don't want to face those teams, and they're not that far above you in these rankings. So, you're not ready for that, but I think there's a pretty good group of middle tier teams all poised to maybe really flip the switch and climb up into the top of these rankings.
Correct. Absolutely. Moving on. At number 8, I have Arizona. There's Arizona fans, a few of them, man, why can't you move them up? What does your competitor have them at? First of all, I could care less what a competitor has them at. This is where I see where Arizona is, and this is where they are. They're number 8 in this conference as of right now. Again, they've got some things to prove. Now, you go to Ames, Iowa, and you win this weekend, we'll have a different conversation on where Arizona is and what they have and haven't proved. Even if they go there and play well and don't win, we'll have a conversation about that. But until I see that, again, I saw them beat a Kansas State team. They struggled to win. Somebody said they dominated the game. I'm like, hold on. The game, first of all, you won by 6. It was 17-17 late into the fourth quarter, and Kansas State stinks. So don't tell me how good they are just yet. I do think they have a really good defense. Matter of fact, I know so. I know they have a really good defense. We'll see what the offense looks like when they play better competition. I'm excited for that game. I think it's actually going to be a good game. But for now, I got Arizona at 8.
I'm with you. I think they're middle of the conference. I don't think you accomplished anything by beating Kansas State by 6 points. They did statistically dominate the game, but that doesn't decide the outcome of a game.
No, it doesn't.
So, and as for your competitors, I just want to point this out. These are Big B's rankings, not the competitors.
Correct.
And I know this from experience. Big B's always right. He's also bigger than me, so I'm going to say nice things, but in this case, I trust his rankings emphatically.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. And first of all, I get it, competitors, but we're all trying to do this. We're all having fun at this, man. I'm not trying to beat anybody over the head. This is just what I think. If you don't agree, let me know. It doesn't matter what somebody else is doing. Anyway, moving on. Number 7, I've got Houston. I still think Houston's got some things to prove. They're going on the road this week to Oregon State. Now, here's the thing. I guess Oregon State, are we classifying them as a group of 6 as of now, Fitz? I mean, they're not in a conference, haven't been in a conference for the last couple of years. So I guess technically they are. And the one thing that I know about Oregon State, they stink. Okay. That's the one thing I know about them this year is that they stink. Trap game for Houston. You got to go win. Again, tricky game on the road. I'm sure this game clearly was scheduled when Oregon State was in the Pac-10. I get it, but you got to go win this game. If Houston is trying to get to a bowl game and trying to do all the things that they're trying to do this year, this is a game you have to go win. So I get it. It's a trap game. It's on the road. It'll be tricky, but you have to go win. And you're better than Oregon State, or at least you've been better so far. Because, again, I've seen Oregon State a couple times. They are not a good football team. They're not. You need to go win this game. But right now, I got Houston at 7.
Look, this is going to be a problem for a lot of programs. I don't consider the new Pac-12, including Oregon State and Washington State, to be a power conference.
No.
Maybe that's unfair, but I don't think so. I mean, the Big 12 has been through a lot of changes, but still, most of this conference has been power level teams for a long time. But you scheduled them to be your power level opponent in the non-conference. So a lot of schools are going to be caught with this. Technically, they don't fulfill the requirements of the scheduling because we've never seen this happen before. Schools drop a level from power conference to group of whatever. It's kind of unprecedented. It's always going the other way. It's going up. So yeah, it's a scheduling problem. And bless Oregon State and Washington State. I mean, they're underfunded. They're getting their rosters rated. If anyone's good, they leave. I think they need the new Pac-12 so they can have that level of competition and look good again. But you're right. These are stinky beavers, and nobody likes that.
That is wild. I love it.
I'm going to remove myself from the room.
Unbelievable. At number 6, I got Arizona State. Look, I punished Arizona State for losing to Mississippi State. And as of right now, the loss to Mississippi State doesn't look that bad. I mean, they're 4-0. They're playing well. Now, that could change by the end of the year. But Mississippi State looks like a decent football team. And, again, the game was on the road. Having said that, I think Baylor's a good football team. They're not out of this Big 12 race by any stretch. And Arizona State went to Baylor and won. So I think Arizona, look, I punished them for losing. I have to reward them for beating teams that I believe are good football teams. That's the way this thing works. At least that's the way my power rankings are always going to work. They're going to be fluid from week to week. And so I'm going to give them the grace of, hey, maybe Mississippi State wasn't that bad. And 2, you just beat a good Baylor football team, which is why I moved them ahead of Arizona and why I moved them ahead of Houston, because they have a better win than either one of those two do. And even with the loss that they have, I don't think it's a horrible loss as of now. It could end up Mississippi State may not win another game, and then it will be a bad loss. But as of today, it's not. And we know that power rankings move each and every week. So that's why I have them at 6, Fitz.
And Arizona State has my favorite thing for a football team, the same as Iowa State and others in this conference. They have a warrior quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about the stats. Don't look at how the ball comes out of the hand or whatever you want to, designate a good quarterback versus a bad quarterback. Is he willing to get his nose bloody to pick up the first down that helps his team win? Does he put it all out on the field and then proceed to make plays when they have to be made? That's often what decides a good team from a bad team. And Sam Levitt's that.
Yeah.
I love watching him play. And I don't hide my affection for Rocco Becht either. I think they're both let's go to battle kind of leaders. And I'm all in on that. And I think you're going to have a pretty good football team if your quarterback brings that attitude to the field every week.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And he put his team on the back against Baylor when they needed to have it.
Yep.
He made the plays to help them win the football game. So that's what you want from your leader and from your quarterback. So at number 5, this will probably make their fans mad, but they know it to be the truth. Utah is at number 5.
Yeah.
Look, you got the doors blown off of you. I know that it was only the last 8 minutes of the game, but I'm sorry. They don't stop keeping stats. They don't stop keeping score after 52 minutes of football. If a team blows the doors off of you the last 8 minutes of the game, that counts. It doesn't mean they blew you out the entire game, but those last 8 minutes, why don't those last 8 minutes count as just as much as the previous 8 minutes? I think they do, especially in a close football game. So that happened. We saw it happen, but it was more than that. Tech's defense dominated Utah's offensive line. We watched that happen in real time. We saw Utah's quarterback not play very well. I think that had a lot to do with Texas Tech's defense not allowing him to play very well. But the bottom line is I'm still not out on this Utah team. I'm not. But this is power rankings. And when you lose, and you lose the way that you do, you have to take a tumble for that. And this is where you fall. And right now you're at number 5. Do I think you're going to look as bad playing other teams within this conference as you did against Tech? No, I don't think so. I think you're going to be just fine. Matter of fact, I still think you have a good chance to get to Arlington. Now, your quarterback play's got to get better. I'll say that. And there was a big disparity from Texas Tech's athletes to Utah's athletes. You could see the difference, Fitz, in that football game. Will you be able to see that difference when they take on other competition in the Big 12? I don't know. Tech's roster's loaded. I mean, it's just loaded. So we'll see what that looks like. But Utah's at 5. Don't freak out. A lot of season left, but you got to take a tumble when you lose the way you do.
Yeah. I think they're pretty good. I think Tech is really good.
Yeah.
And because we know Utah's offensive line's good. I mean, you can watch them play, Big B, and it doesn't matter who the opponent is. You see the qualities of a good offensive line.
Yes.
And Tech kind of showed them up from the
did.
very start. I also want to say this: that atmosphere
Ooh,
at Rice Eccles was unbelievable.
unbelievable.
And that's why long before this merger or realignment happened, I thought Utah and the way their fan base is invested in their school fit the Big 12 so much more than the Pac-12.
Yeah.
And I think they've also found out that the Big 12 can play a pretty good brand of football that they didn't accept as fact when they joined. I think this was a really healthy game, earning Utah back some respect, but I think also maybe giving Utah fans a little more respect for the opponents they're facing from the Big 12. Last year wasn't all because of you. It was a lot of that, but this conference is just pretty good in the middle. And now we appear to have a breakout team that I'll get to this later, but I think it's really good for the conference and really good for college football.
Yep. What I really respect and I love about Utah is that they've carved out a niche in a big city. Now I know Salt Lake City isn't metropolis, it's not New York City or LA or anything like that, but it would be classified as a bigger city in the United States of America. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time when you look at cities like that, you can look at Houston for an example. When you have those schools that are within those big cities, they don't always have the college kind of feel, and they definitely don't get the college atmosphere all the time. Utah has carved that out, and you get that. That was you hit it on the head, Fitz. That was an incredible scene at Rice Eccles Stadium, and we knew it would be. But to me, it was even more than what I thought. I got to get to a game. It's just period, point blank. I just got to get out to a game.
I'm looking forward to that trip later in the season because Kansas State gets their butt kicked later this year. They play a game in Salt Lake City. Here's what's interesting: all the stuff going on in the world. I didn't know this. Well, first of all, we knew that Utah and BYU aren't that far apart geographically.
Nope.
I didn't know until the other things happening in the world that Utah Valley is right there too, and it's the biggest school.
Oh, now that I didn't know.
Like what? Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I heard it from the news, so it could be wrong. But they got like 40,000 students. I'm like, where are all these college kids coming from? There's more than 100,000 college kids in like a 1 hour radius or so. I don't understand. But to have that kind of bandwidth that Utah fans have in that market, that's impressive, man.
It is
impressive. That was I can't wait to go see it myself.
Yeah. Well, you know what I like Utah and BYU is because there's nothing but chaos. They can't stand each other, those fans. And that, to me, I think that's the best thing about it. They can't stand each other. I love it. Absolutely love it. So those are the next six. So let's see what it compares. Utah at 5 is right. Arizona State, I got them at 6. Publishers have them higher. Houston, they got Kansas at 7. Baylor at 8. Arizona at 9. See, don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me, Arizona fans. The publishers have you even lower than what I do. And then they have Houston at 10. I'm just higher on Houston. I don't know. I'm just higher on Houston and not as much Kansas. And I think it's because I watched. Now, again, Houston could, once they play a little bit better competition, we could see teams blow their doors off. I don't think that's going to happen. And I don't think a Willie Fritz defense is going to be giving up 600 yards of total offense, Fitz. I don't think that's going to happen. It could, but I don't think that's going to happen. But
let me explain your stance on Houston being 7, Arizona 8. Arizona fans, ask yourself a simple question. Just one question. Who's got the better head coach?
There you go.
There's no comparison. There just isn't. And maybe the talent is greater at Arizona. I think it probably is. And they do have better coordinators now. I get that, but boy, he's gone. It might have taken some time. But this is year 2. And that team looks so much better than year 1. it's a little bit scary. Is Houston this year's Arizona State? Probably not, but
Right.
you and I won't be shocked if
No.
they're in Arlington. I will
No.
not be shocked if they're in Arlington. I haven't looked at their schedule to understand the depth of it and the difficulty, but they're getting there, and they're
Right.
extremely well coached from the top down. He's a brilliant coach.
He is. And I'll give Arizona credit because, again, this is year 2 for them, and they definitely, at least so far, look much better than what they looked last year at this time. I mean, it's a night and day difference. I'll give them credit for that. I just need to see more. That's all. The teams that I've seen that I have them in front, or I have in front of them, I've seen them be better. That's all. It's not personal. Sometimes people think that it's personal. I promise you it's not. Moving on.
Sometimes a refresh of the coaching staff actually works.
Correct. And it seems to have worked at Arizona.
Right.
You know, got the coach brought in from drinking beers with the alumni and the fan base 30 minutes before kickoff and got him back into the locker room coaching some football before a football game. Imagine what can happen. It's amazing. It's amazing. But BYU at number 4. Okay. Look, the freshman quarterback played a lot better. Look, the season was kind of set up for a freshman quarterback to come in. Now, we didn't know that a freshman quarterback was going to be the starter. We didn't know that situation. It was just, hey, BYU is got a pretty soft schedule to begin the season. Well, it ended up being a blessing for them because they have a true freshman quarterback that's come in, and he's progressively gotten better. And he looked pretty good. And again, it was East Carolina, but I don't think East Carolina is a bad football team. Again, trap game, on the road, group of 5 opponent, one that's not terrible. East Carolina is not terrible. And then you got Colorado next week when all the lights will be on at football after dark. You know, I don't know that that's necessarily a rivalry game, but you know Colorado's looking for it because you beat their doors in at the Alamo Bowl last year, so they're looking forward to it. So you're probably looking forward to defending and saying, hey, that wasn't a fluke. So I get it. But I like BYU. That defense is still really, really good fits. It'd be a good game in Colorado. At least it appears to be one, unless BYU's defense just takes over the game and just says, no, not here. You're not doing anything today, which could happen, which very well could happen. But I got them at 4. I got BYU at 4.
If we could I'm not sure when the Holy War is this year, but if we could have them be 4-5, 5-4 going into that game, I'll be so happy because, it seems like there's an imbalance, at least what little I know about it. It's like one team's good, the other's not so good. That was true last year, and it was still a great game. Have them both be good teams. Let's see how they go at it. I'm looking forward to that. And winning at East Carolina, it says something. A lot of people pick the Pirates to win. And plus, I love the Pirates as a mascot. They will steal your booty. I didn't say booty. I said booty, like as in your treasure.
Yeah.
So don't get weird out there, people.
That's wild. At number 3, I've got Iowa State. Look, they didn't play, but I think the 2 teams ahead of them, I just think they're better than them right now. I think they've got a more impressive resume, should I say. It's not that I think Iowa State's a bad football team. I think they do. Some people will say, well, they've beaten 2 Power 4 conference teams. I'm like, one of those was Kansas State. Stop the madness. Stop the madness. And again, that might be a better win if Kansas State gets its act together. Yep. It might be a better win down the road. But as of today, a team that's 1-3 that struggled to beat North Dakota, lost to Army at home, that's not a good football team. So that's not a good win. Is Iowa a good win? It's a rivalry game. Iowa will be Iowa. They're going to win probably 8 games again. So that's decent. But this is where I got Iowa State right now. It's not an indictment on the program. It doesn't mean that they're a bad football team. It doesn't mean anything like that. It just means the 2 teams that are ahead of them, that I have ahead of them, I think have proven more. It's just that simple as of right now. I like Iowa State. I think they have a real shot to get to Arlington. But this week, we got them at 3.
A few weeks down the road, 3 weeks, number 3 might be number 8, and number 8 might be number 3. It's that volatile in this conference. I think Iowa State's pretty good. Again, I think they've got good quarterback leadership. But I'm with you. The top two right now have shown that they're different.
Yes, they absolutely have. We'll get to that. Look, TCU is at number 2. I like TCU. I think that's a good. I think SMU is a good football team. I know they've lost 2 games, but they can't beat Big 12 teams. So maybe it was right that the Big 12 didn't invite SMU. But I think SMU is a good football team. They could easily end up in the ACC championship game this year. Because that conference, you think our conference is crazy? Their conference is an absolute mess. Besides Miami, who I still am not sure how good Miami is, and we'll see about Florida State. But the rest of it, who knows? But I like TCU. I said this after the game. At some point, we have to start talking about Josh Hoover for the Heisman Trophy. I don't know when that's going to be, Fitz, but at some point, we have to start talking about him for the Heisman Trophy. I don't know what it's going to take. Well, they throw the ball over the lot. Well, okay. We haven't seen quarterbacks win the Heisman that have thrown the ball all over the place. Of course we have. But the one thing that TCU is doing this year, and I'm going to talk to Jeremy Clark tomorrow, is they're being able to run the football. Last year, they couldn't run the football an inch. So they had to throw it all over the place. Teams teed off, pressured the quarterback, got after Hoover a ton. While they still throw it a lot, they can now run it. And they're running it at the tune of over 4 yards a clip, which is good. So they are able to run the football. They put a big emphasis on the physicality of their offensive line this offseason. And so far this season, it's paying off. I like this team. Again, another one of the 7 that I picked to get to the Big 12 title. They're right in the middle of that race. I like TCU, Fitz.
They're looking good. Look, I think SMU is a pretty good team. Apparently not compared to the Big 12. I'm confident that if we get to the end of the season and SMU's in the ACC title game, the committee will completely forget those 2 games and probably pick SMU over one of them. But the ACC as a whole has struggled against the Big 12, and I think that's notable and a bright spot in an otherwise fairly mediocre season for this conference. But the top team is not part of a mediocre season for this conference. Mm-hmm. The top team might be as dangerous as anyone in the country, and boy, would that be good for college football.
I'm telling you, look, Texas Tech, clearly the number 1 team in the country or in the conference. They're still not getting the respect, but we knew that was going to happen. When they rank these Big 12 teams so far down, and then they start pounding on Big 12 teams, they're not going to give them the respect. You're not going to convince me that Texas Tech is not a top 10 football team. I don't care what you say. You're not going to convince me of that. I watched them. I watched what they did to what I believe to be the best offensive line in the country. I watched what that front 7 did to Utah's. I watched it. And then I also watched them commit 14 penalties in a football game. I want to say it was like 5 or 6 false starts, Fitz. I watched that. And them still paced Utah on the road in that crazy environment. We watched it. We also watched their backup quarterback come in. And then now there's a bunch of people that say, well, he's better than the starter. I'm like, Barrett Morton's wasn't playing bad. He had 2 kind of fluky interceptions. I go, well, he wasn't playing bad, but the backup just played better. I go, and it was good to see. And look, Tech is good. And you can say it's the best team that money can buy. Well, everybody's buying teams. Right. Nobody said that about Ohio State last year, and they won the national championship. Right. I mean, nobody was saying they were the best team that money can buy. That's how it is done in college football these days, people. Give them credit. They convinced a booster to pony up. He was tired of seeing them be bad. He did. Now they're good. Good for them. Don't blame them one bit. But you know what? You still have to coach them. And they still have to play. You can pay all those guys all you want. They still have to come and play. And they are playing. That defense is good. You knew the offense was going to be good. Tech's good football team, people. They're a good football team. They got to keep going because, as I reminded people, Fitz, remember last year when we thought the Utah-Oklahoma State game? Remember that was the first conference game. It was a big game, and Utah just physically whipped Oklahoma State, and we thought, uh-oh. It was like Utah is super good. And then we thought, well, Oklahoma State will bounce back. Turns out Oklahoma State went all the way in the tank and Utah followed them. They just stood on top of them. So they got to keep playing, but I don't think this is the same. Number one, Utah's better than, if you want to say they're the Oklahoma State of last year. They're better than that. And Texas Tech damn sure is better than what Utah was last year.
Amen. And let me flesh out a little bit why I say Texas Tech is good for college football. Everyone in the Big Ten and SEC is on notice. Now everyone has access to the upper levels of college football because of NIL and the portal.
Mm-hmm.
You can be annoyed by the fact that they're doing this, but I think it's good. Why? Because if, let's say, Texas Tech makes it to the national championship game, let alone wins the damn thing, I think the SEC and Big Ten are going to scramble around and try to figure out how to stop this from happening again. They're intruding on our land, and I think they'll revert the rules to, whatever favors them the most, or attempt to.
Absolutely.
So I think this is really good. But I'm reminded of a 1970s, 80s bit from comedian Steve Martin on how to become a millionaire. In this case, inflation's brought it to a billionaire. If every team could get themselves a Cody Campbell billionaire, well, everyone's going to be competitive. And step one to become a billionaire, according to Steve Martin, is one, get $1 billion. And I think that's really straight to the point. If you all had a billionaire, you could all be Alabama. The rules have changed. College football, for all of its good and bad, is a different world.
Yeah.
Now, Texas Tech fans will be insufferable if they win a national championship. I accept that.
Absolutely.
Every fan base should be, if they're not up there in the preconceived notions of who's good. But man, this would be huge for the Big 12. It'd be huge for college football. And I got to say it, everyone needs to kind of be, maybe not against your team, but kind of thumb open, keep rolling, Tech, keep rolling. You have the power to change the narrative in a way that Arizona State almost did last year.
Mm-hmm.
But now you might have the dudes all across the front of your defensive line to compete with anyone in the country. It's pretty cool.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. We need it. We just need some wins. We need some wins in the college football playoff. Tech's got the team to do it. Tech's got the team to win the whole damn thing. They really do.
Yep.
They're that good. They got to keep it going. Got to get lucky with health, but they have the opportunity. So
apparently they have
appreciate everybody, man. Appreciate everybody being in here. Thank you, as always, for listening. This is the final rankings that we have of the Final Four right here. Tech at 1. Everybody has that.
Let's ignore the spelling of Texas there.
Oh, I saw that. I have TCU. We flipped TCU and Iowa State. They got BYU. They didn't have They have BYU at 6. Like, come on, man. Give BYU some credit. And Arizona State, I get it. Look, I'm willing to move them up, but I'm not willing to move them up past all these other teams. I'm just not willing to do that just yet. Not just yet. So I think Arizona State's a good football team. I do. But we'll see. We'll see. Got a long way to go with power rankings, people. But this is where we are this week. So appreciate everybody being in here as always. Thank you guys. And tomorrow we're going to talk to Arizona State, talk to TCU. They got a gigantic game on Friday night. We'll talk to them tomorrow. So appreciate everybody. Talk to you soon.
Thank you for watching the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. This has been a Spirit Street production.